Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, former FBI Director James Comey testifies before Congress. We'll take a look at what his testimony reveals. And we'll hear about a new center at ASU to help students and staff cope with the strains of modern life. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Kim Covington, in for Ted Simons. Former FBI Director James Comey testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee today. He took questions from senators in an open session for most of the morning before moving to a closed-door session in the afternoon. The former director talked about his interactions with President Trump with regards to the Russia investigation, his firing, and whether he thinks President Trump tried to obstruct justice.
I don't think it's for me to say whether the conversation I had with the president was an effort to obstruct. I took it as a very disturbing thing, very concerning, but that's a conclusion I'm sure the special counsel will work towards to try and understand what the intention was there and whether that's an offense.
Joining me now to talk about the testimony and what impact it may have had on the Russian investigation and even the presidency is Paul Charlton, former U.S. Attorney for Arizona and partner with Steptoe and Johnson. Welcome. Well, I don't know about you, but my heart is still racing after 2.5 hours of testimony that began with this opening statement.
And although the law required no reason at all to fire an FBI director, the administration then chose to defame me and, more importantly, the FBI by saying that the organization was in disarray, that it was poorly led, that the workforce had lost confidence in its leader. Those were lies, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Was it simple that he is clearing his name today?
Jim Comey has an impeccable reputation as a truthful individual, and I think while there may be much debate about what his testimony means, there are few who can doubt that what he said today was accurate and truthful from his perspective. I don't think this was so much about Jim Comey trying to clear his name as giving the American people the opportunity to now hear from Jim Comey. And in your opinion, did Comey's testimony build a case for obstruction of justice? Jim Comey was very careful not to answer that question directly. He said it was going to be a question for the special prosecutor, Bob Mueller, but here's what we can say. It is one more piece of the puzzle, and as Bob Mueller moves forward and gathers more information, this will be an important piece of that puzzle for Mr. Mueller. And Comey admits Trump never specifically asked or directed him to drop the investigation of Flynn. Let's take a listen.
He did not direct you to let it go.
Not in his words, no.
He did not order you to let it go.
Again, those words are not an order.
No. He said, I hope. Now, like me, you probably did hundreds of cases, maybe thousands of cases, charging people with criminal offenses. And of course, you have knowledge of the thousands of cases out there that where people have been charged. Do you know of any case where a person has been charged for obstruction of justice, or for that matter, any other criminal offense, where they said or thought they hoped for an outcome?
I don't know well enough to answer. And the reason I keep saying his words is I took it as a direction.
Right.
I mean, this is the President of the United States with me alone saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do. Now, I didn't obey that, but that's the way I took it.
You may have taken it as a direction, but that's not what he said.
Correct. That's why
he said, I hope.
Those are exact words, okay. Correct.
He's hanging on the word hope. Does the word hope give Trump an out?
I don't think it would be wise for those who support the president to use the word hope as an out. I've prosecuted enough extortion and obstruction of justice cases to know that hope is oftentimes the operative word in this sense. I hope your house doesn't burn down. I hope your children make it safely to school. This is the kind of thing that individuals who threaten and who obstruct justice often use. So it's not correct that hope gives anyone an out. That word gives anyone an out when thinking about obstruction of justice.
All right. In this case, it's just a case of he said, she said, or he said, right? Who's telling the truth? And Senator Susan Collins from Maine got to that point.
Did you show copies of your memos to anyone outside of the Department of Justice?
Yes.
And to whom did you show copies?
I asked, President tweeted on Friday after I got fired that I better hope there's not tapes. I woke up in the middle of the night on Monday night, because it didn't dawn on me originally, that there might be corroboration for our conversation. There might be a tape. And my judgment was I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel. And so I asked a close friend of mine to do it.
Now, this was both troubling and understandable, that, you're concerned that someone's gonna lie on you. So you go to these extreme measures.
From the very first meeting, according to Jim Comey's testimony on January 6th of this year, Mr. Comey had concerns about the president's truthfulness. And so immediately after the next 8 meetings or phone calls, Mr. Comey took detailed notes, put them in memoranda, so that he would have a record of exactly what was said. And some of the quotes were actually in quotation. Some of the statements that the president made were in quotation. So that is important. It's due some gravity. It's due some weight, because it does lend to the credibility of Mr. Comey when he says these are the events as I remember them.
Yeah, and what led to all of this is that tweet, that original tweet from Trump. And if you don't remember, I'm sure a lot of people do, that James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversation before he starts leaking that to the press. That just opened up a can of worms.
He was almost prodding Jim Comey to release information, to release his perspective and his recollection of what happened.
Yeah, and Comey outlined Trump's character right here, too.
What was it about that meeting that led you to determine that you needed to start putting down a written record?
A combination of things. I think the circumstances, the subject matter, and the person I was interacting with. Circumstances first, I was alone with the President of the United States, or the President-elect, soon to be President. The subject matter, I was talking about matters that touch on the FBI's core responsibility and that relate to the President-elect personally. And then the nature of the person. I was honestly concerned that he might lie about the nature of our meeting, and so I thought it really important to document.
This is very concerning. So we hear lie over and over again. I was concerned. There was trust that was broken. Do you believe he made a case for obstruction of justice and for an impeachment hearing?
Well, obstruction of justice as a crime is a difficult one, Kim, to think about, because first, we don't even know if a sitting president can be prosecuted. The Constitution isn't clear, and there are differing views about that. But let's think about it as if it were possible. This alone, put it in a silo, probably not sufficient evidence. But build a case if there are other pieces of evidence that show that the president not only acted this way with Mr. Comey, but with others, and there is some testimony that that may have happened. This may be the beginning of a case that builds towards an obstruction of justice. And if it doesn't work in the criminal courts of law, there's always the Congress, where, as you know, the impeachment process can be brought for obstruction of justice. There, though, it's a political question, and because the Republicans control the House and the Senate, at this point in time, it's probably unlikely that we'd see such an impeachment.
Well, Twitter blew up. 3.6 million people tweeted during the testimony, and the #1 tweet was from Senator John McCain's bizarre testimony. We just could not understand it. What did you make of it?
Well, I think the senator had a pretty good sense of humor in his own tweet later on. He said that he'd perhaps stayed up too late, watching the Diamondbacks.
Right. But I don't know. It seems like he was I don't know, it seems like he was making a case for Trump.
He did link to a press release in that tweet about watching the Diamondbacks too late. And what he said he was attempting to say was that Jim Comey had given an opinion about whether or not Hillary Clinton had committed a crime. Would Jim Comey, he wanted to know, give the same opinion about whether or not the president had committed a crime?
Well, this is going to go on, and I believe you, probably for longer than we want it to go on.
I'd love to see a quick resolution, but I don't think we will.
Well, thank you so much, Paul. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for trying to explain all of this to us. It was just fascinating. And coming up, we'll talk to ASU's Chief Wellbeing Officer about how she's helping staff and students cope with the strains of modern life. Stay with us.
The war by 1966 began to impact the middle class because the draft calls had to be enlarged. They couldn't get enough people to volunteer or draft people out of the working class. They started drafting people out of college. And that's when the anti-war movement shifted from a moral movement to a self-interest movement.
Well, ASU has created the Center for Mindfulness, Compassion, and Resilience to help students and staff cope with the strains of modern life. Joining me now to talk about the center is Terry Pipe, ASU's Chief of Wellbeing. You're a Wellbeing Officer. How did you become a Wellbeing Officer, Chief Wellbeing Officer at that?
Well, thank you for the question. It's a really great story. So the students, every year, the student leadership provides President Michael Crow with recommendations for what they see as their priority needs and problems and of course successes. So 2 years ago, the student government provided President Crow with recommendations, and around the top of the list was that they really wanted an executive leader to be tasked with student well-being, but they didn't stop with students. They also really wanted to see faculty and staff included in that umbrella. And the way that they described well-being was so articulate and beautiful from my perspective. It wasn't simply about their physical well-being or their emotional well-being. It was financial, social, sexual, spiritual, just very holistic. And they were very clear that for their learning environment, they wanted well-being to be really near the top of the list of considerations, and that it wasn't enough to be focused on them, on the students, but because of the learning environment, they also wanted staff and faculty included in that umbrella, which I think is so generous and insightful on their part.
That is insightful. It's just so smart. You know, we've been hearing about you know, the need to be mindful since we got iPhones, basically, and video games. And what can this center teach all of us?
Great question. So the Wellbeing Office is really broad, and so it has to do with lots of different things, and mindfulness is one component of that. So I just want to be really clear that mindfulness, compassion, and resilience are certainly a core component of that, and actually a lever that we can use to influence well-being more broadly. The center has come about very organically and in a grassroots way. So before ASU, I was at Mayo Clinic in Arizona, and when I came, and I did research on mindfulness there, and as I came to ASU, I began to meet lots of people across the university that had expertise in mindfulness. And when I say mindfulness, the way that I'm using it is really the ability to focus on the present moment without thinking about the past or the future.
And that's
right?
easier said than done, though. I mean, so what kind of tools do you use to get people to be centered?
Again, wonderful question. So we can teach them how to practice just like an athlete would practice for an event. So we teach them skills, and usually we start by teaching them to focus on the breath. And so it's not so much about breathing as it is the quality of attention that rests on the breath.
Give us an example.
Sure. You want to do this with me?
Sure.
Okay. So sit with your feet firmly on the floor. Let your arms just be relaxed and not tensed. And then just, if you're willing, allow your eyes to close or your gaze to soften a bit.
And I'm still thinking about the Comey testimony, but we're not. No, you have to really stay set. Close your eyes.
You do.
Okay,
or
close your eyes.
Soften your gaze. And then just allow your attention to rest on your breath. You don't need to change anything or move anything around.
So no humming or anything?
No humming, no singing, no chanting. People can add that, but it's not necessary. And so just sitting quietly like that and being still, allowing your focus to rest on something. And again, it might not be the breath that you're focused on. It could be, something that you're eating or drinking, or it could be a conversation that we're having, or it could be walking. It's not so much the activity as it is the quality of attention that you bring to the activity.
We're really missing life, aren't we? We're not stopping to smell the roses anymore. We're not listening to each other. And so what do you hope that this center can do for us and for the students in faculty?
So I think if we can teach people, I know that if we can teach people these skills, it will bring a sense of presence and compassion for themselves, because you're probably like this too. The people that we're hardest on is ourselves. But if we can bring that quality of centeredness and peace to ourselves and compassion to ourselves, we'll be much more likely to bring it to other people. And never has our world needed compassion and mindfulness more than it needs it now.
And can it be medicine? I mean, is this going to keep us healthier?
It does impact things like blood pressure, blood sugar, even aging at the cellular level. So yes, so that usually gets people's attention.
Okay.
Yes.
So our lives are going to depend on mindfulness.
In a way, yes, and certainly the quality of our life will. So really our collective dream for this is that students, faculty, and staff, anyone who has something to do with ASU, as they experience ASU, will know that mindfulness is a core value of this university, and that we will impact society through that work and through that way of being and showing up in the world.
Wow, and so can the public just come to the center? I know it's for students and faculty. I mean, is it open to the public?
It will be very soon. So we we just hired an executive director, and so we'll be starting to frame workshops and retreats and other coursework, as well as apps. You mentioned your phone before. So there's lots of ways that technology can also help us be more mindful, not just distract us from the quality of attention in the moment.
This is so needed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'm going to hum myself to the break. We'll be right back.
We're in the middle of rather a drama.
I've been thinking about the circumstances of the crime and the nature of love.
It's romantic, is it? Isn't it?
Seems to me as if the answer is right in front of you.
I'm a high-functioning sociopath. You are being irrational.
Need to go.
Will you do a blood test?
No.
You want to hit me now?
Do you think that makes me a wicked woman, sister?
Will the prisoner rise? There is only one thing I would like.
Pain.
Sex?
Heartbreak.
Or love? Oh, yummy.
Papa? Is everything all right in there?
Expand your horizon with the Arizona Horizon website. To get there, go to azpbs.org. Click on the Arizona Horizon tab at the top of the screen. Once there, you can access many features to help you make a more informed viewer. Watch interviews by clicking on the video button, or scroll down to the bottom of the page for the most recent segments. You can also find out what's on Arizona Horizon for the coming week. If you would like an RSS feed, a podcast, or want to buy a video, that's all on the website too. Want to learn about specific topics like immigration or the legislature? You can visit our special web sections. There's also a page for educators. Show your support for Arizona Horizon at azpbs.org/Arizona Horizon.
And Friday on Arizona Horizon, it's the Journalist Roundtable. We'll talk about the governor's declaration of a health emergency to tackle the opioid epidemic. And we'll discuss the latest candidate to throw his hat into the governor's race. That's tomorrow on the Journalist Roundtable on Arizona Horizon. And that's it for now. I'm Kim Covington, and for all of us here at Arizona Horizon, have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in to Arizona Horizon here on Arizona PBS. I'm Alice Ferris. You know, when you watch programs like Arizona Horizon, you know you're going to